Hey everybody, welcome back to the COVID Cocktail Club. We are introducing something today that sort of goes a little bit beyond anything that we've really ever done when you first look at it, but actually when you take a deep dive into the ingredients, you'll realize it's not really that far of a departure for us, and you are all gonna love it. This is called the S'mores cocktail. And it's basically a black Manhattan with a little bit of creme de cacao. We're gonna make this very, very fancy, but you can unfancy it up if you want to. Although we like the fancy.
Like the fancy. I was gonna also point out that I think without the proper ingredients, not necessarily the tools, the fancy tools, because not everyone's gonna have that, and I get it. But I think this drink could go really wrong if you're using like artificial sugars and flavored spirits. So I think if you notice one thing today, we talk about it, we're still using better ingredients. I think that's sort of the key.
Agree. We are using creme de cacao in this, and if you opt for one of those super low end, like bottom of the shelf at the liquor store creme de cacaos that are all sugar and artificial grossness, that's going to taste gross. Also, if you notice, both of us are using a clear creme de cacao. In this particular recipe, you could use a brown one, I suppose, and it wouldn't matter, but there are so many other cocktails we like to use this in that really necessitate it being clear. So if you invest in this bottle, we hope that you buy a clear one. I am a huge fan of this Marie Brizard.
Yeah, I just got this one last week. I've used it for a white old fashioned, which is a whole nother conversation. It's quite delicious with mezcal.
Okay, anyway, so like we always say, use quality ingredients and you can't go wrong with your cocktail. Well, I guess you can, but you're definitely gonna go wrong if you use shit ingredients.
Yeah, well, ratios and balance are key. Like, I think if you went way too heavy on the creme de cacao, this could go way off the deep end.
Super wrong.
Yeah, in fact, it is the lowest of the ratios. So it's done just as a little taste, a little extra little profile in there, a little chocolate.
A little bit goes a long way with this. But this would be super fun for you guys to make this weekend and have a camp out in the backyard, under the stars, in a tent with your kids. Aren't you doing like great parent stuff like that, Jason?
Of course. Again, it's a lifestyle drink, right?
Totally. Because that's what we're doing. We're not watching screens at all.
No, not at all.
Anywho, it's a fun drink, and we encourage you to have a good time with us. Because really, we're just gonna have a little bit of fun today. Jason has a super fun way of starting this drink.
I do. There's a few jokes that could be said here, which I will not be partaking in. I'll let Risa do that if she'd like, but I will not. Got it. Yeah,
Me?
yeah, you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. So I'm going to teach you how to coat the rim. So typically when you think about coating the rim of a glass, you're thinking about margaritas with salt or tahini or what have you. So instead, because it is a s'mores, why not coat it with graham crackers? So how do we get the graham crackers on there? So if you try to coat it without first prepping it, nothing really happens. It just doesn't stick. We were thinking about, do we do a fruit?
Well, usually we'd use a citrus
to
get it, right? We would use a lime or a lemon, and we would.
Well, but see, lemon and lime to me don't go with chocolate. I was thinking orange could actually be good. Orange and chocolate are quite delicious. But instead, I'm trying, it's actually a mix. You can't tell on there, but I blended just a little bit of the creme de cacao and some simple syrup. So just enough to hopefully let it adhere to the graham cracker crust. And there you go.
Very easy and very nice.
Thank you. Garnishes are not my strength, so yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one.
I like that, Jason. That's nice. We both have out here different tools, because if we're gonna have a s'mores cocktail, you need to be able to light that shit on fire.
And take it a step further. And
right.
smoke it.
We're gonna smoke this shit because it needs to. It's a chocolate Manhattan if you don't smoke it, and you can do that, and that's fine. But if you want to really evoke a bonfire and go back to your days as a Girl Scout or Boy Scout, you got to smoke this shit. So we've taught you how to smoke the glass before, and if you want to just do that, you can. In which case, before you make it, right now, take your wood chips in a small pile that your glass would fit on top of. Light it on fire so that it gets smoky and gets your orange tips. Invert it over, let it sit there, and then make the cocktail, and you're done. And that's fine. We're gonna take it up a notch today.
Just thought of one logistical challenge. If you're doing it that way, which I think most people probably will until they get some of the fancier tools.
Yes.
This guy upside down may not do so well.
If you're gonna do it the way I just said,
yeah,
then you have to garnish it my way, not Jason's way. Let's make this cocktail. We're gonna mix it because everything in here is booze. There's actually no simple syrup in here. Interesting.
I would also add that it makes this drink a little more sophisticated.
For sure.
It's prepared like a Manhattan would be. This is meant to be a grown-up s'mores.
It's
a grown-up chocolate Manhattan. Okay.
2 ounces of bourbon. 3/4 ounce of Averna. 1/2 ounce of creme de cacao. Not the shitty kind.
No shitty creme de cacao.
3 dashes of chocolate bitters. So let's stir this bad boy with some ice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna strain them into our glass. And we thought about what kind of glass we wanted to use for this cocktail. And we both decided we wanted something that could sort of hold in your hand. It can get a little bit warm in your hand and feels like you want to sit around the campfire telling stories. I added that part. Jason didn't say that.
Yeah, I like the story. That's a good story about stories. I like it.
Now we're gonna smoke this shit. Are you using your Breville?
No, I'm using this fancy guy.
Well, you're gonna use your fancy guy.
This was a gift from Marcy that I need to break out and start using. So, but it's similar concept.
I'm putting some wood chips in my Breville smoker that I've used for food, by the way. This is a not terribly expensive little gadget that if you like want to smoke fish or smoke meats, it's actually really good. That's actually its primary intention. Would you believe that it's not cocktails?
Yeah, I tried sticking a fish in this thing. It didn't work out so well.
Gross. It's really gross.
So this fancy guy, it's actually like a little box with a door in the back. I get to stick the cocktail in there. We get to watch them smoke this way.
So ideally, mine would have a little vacuum seal that I could stick this in, and Breville does make that. I just don't own it. I'm going to use this cute little cloche that I bought when I was in California. And I'm going to let the smoke come out of here and just trap it in my cloche. Yes, I just wanted to say cloche.
I'm sorry. How did one spell that word?
C-L-O-C-H-E. Cloche.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I said that word, you'd say some funny commentary about douche factor on the bottom of the screen.
But if you said it, you'd look douchey. When I say it, I just sound legit.
What if I use the cloche by the pool?
Oh, Nelly.
Are we ready?
Me too. Someone call the fire department. Mine looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie, this looks awesome. And the longer it sits here, the smokier it's gonna get, which just warms my heart and makes me happy. This is as close as I've ever been to being a Girl Scout right here.
Yeah, that is really pretty.
Yeah.
You know, mine, it's odd. Mine is sort of stopped midway and it's just sort of like floating there like a cloud.
I see that. That's so interesting that it's not sort of like dispersing.
It's not.
While we let it sit here smoking, let's put the shopping list up.
Oh, by the way, guys, as you're looking at the shopping list, remember, at least in Houston, we have a new friend over at Rice Fine Liquors in Bel Air. So if you don't know this already, if you go in there, it's over on Spruce Street behind the new H-E-B, and ask for Al. He's the owner, and tell him you are a fan of the CCC, and he'll give you 5% off. So when one makes s'mores, they need marshmallows, obviously. They need a skewer of some sort, and they need fire, right?
Correct.
We already have our chocolate already in the creme de cacao and the chocolate bitter, so we're good there. You have a little fancy creme brulee, hoo-ha. These little torchy guys right here, even a lighter, a candle, whatever you need to do to get this guy nice and crispy.
Or melty.
Or melty.
Woo! Woo! Look at that. When I tell you it smells awesome in here, the smell of that and the smell of burnt marshmallows together.
Yeah, it's a nice combo.
Damn.
So I think one thing we're discovering as we make this garnish with you guys is that this is not the kind of garnish you're gonna leave on the glass while you're drinking it. This is more of like a dessert to your drink.
I think you eat it while you drink it, or you take a picture of it and then you drink it.
It smells delicious. It looks delicious. Again,
I'm excited about drinking it because it's dessert and a cocktail, but it's not gross and sweet. We hope you have a very sweet weekend.
well done. That was nice. Cheers, Rice.
Cheers, Jason.